But I'm also worried about us preserving her right. Is there
Right.
any way that we can have an amnesty period that existing property owners can come forward and just waive the fee? Just go through the process, but waive the fee. I mean, you guys pay incentives to bring someone to come in and drop a plan and look at something.
We can, as part of the plan, you know, if you want to say, okay, we agree we're going to exclude her property, as long as it's not spot zoning, you know, we'd have to take a look at it, but
My
that could be.
property is more commercial around my property, but the purpose
So
of.
that's a
it
good
would not
thing,
be
because then
spot
it
zoning.
probably wouldn't be spot
The
zoning.
purpose for my trade school is to give back to the community, to help the women in the community to do something for the community.
So like I say, maybe you could be exempted if that's.
And is that a school? Is that
It's not a school.
really?
Well,
It's not a school.
I wouldn't say a school.
You could
because-
call it a school.
Well, you could
That
call
would
it a
be
school,
allowed.
but it's gonna be small. Enrollment
Wouldn't that
will
be
small.
allowed in residential?
But, I mean, that doesn't, it sounds like what you're
But
describing
if you
though
had a
is a
daycare,
school.
it's a day, I mean, the same as
Yes.
like a daycare. A daycare, is that considered a school?
It's not, but it is, daycare is allowed in a residential area at certain scales. So, I mean, if you're just training people and, you know, doing classes and teaching people in skill enhancement, that to me is not a traditional commercial
No.
activity. So I would think that
Yeah, I
that could be
agree.
written
If you
in.
swing it towards the educational, it could fall under the schools.
Yeah, and then
And
then
then I
she'd be
can put it
allowed.
in a residential.
Call it trade school.
Okay. It
That's
is
what
a
it
trade,
is. You're,
trade
yeah,
school.
you're
Okay.
teaching trade.
Trade school.
I want to change hats for a minute here. What effect does that have on the church that's in the area, that's in a residential?
Churches,
Churches
they're
are
permitted in
They're good.
residential. You're
Right,
fine.
so like if we, but this is my thing, if we build an education building or something that.
That would be
on
accessory.
property-
Accessory
That would be
to the
accessory
church.
to the primary, so you would be allowed to do that.
Right.
Okay, yeah, because we do have some property that's in the residential.
So before we
What's your
get, we
address?
start splitting up and we are over time, am I hearing the consensus that we basically take this future land use map
Okay.
and we create from it a special zone, kind of amending some of the setbacks and
Build
the
to.
density
That's what we need.
in order to get up to a 20 unit per acre density? Is that what we're targeting? That sound reasonable? We gotta start, let's start with something.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start, although the 20, I don't think they're building on an acre.
It's 20 per acre. There's .93
It's
acres
close.
to there.
It's close to an acre.
And also to me, you know, another meeting, more owners, because, well, just like Ador, that was like a tweaking, because we, the way we see DeViller's corridor, and it was connected to it, and there might be some more tweaking, but
Well, and I
Yeah,
think
I
at the
agree.
second meeting, we could also bring back some density options to see how comfortable y'all are with it. And like I say, I agree, it's time sensitive and we need to move forward.
And some setback options, and just for everyone's information, you know, there is such a thing as a lot of record, which means if the lot was in that configuration in 1965, that there is no minimum lot width. The setbacks are like 10 feet, 4 feet.
20, 10, and 4.
Yeah, so, most of the parcels in Belmont Villas are lots of record.
Correct.
So you won't really have that issue. And I think what you guys want, from what I've been hearing, you want the protection of having, you don't want everything just open totally to residential. So it makes sense that you continue with some form, some iteration of your adopted land use plan, because that protects you in terms of use. But what you want to do is allow a bit more density. You want to allow, you know, fuller use of the lots, and we can do that by tweaking some of those provisions. So, and then you still have like commercial. The good thing about this, I was just describing to Randy earlier, and I'm going to let you guys know. when I grew up in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, I lived in what I considered the best neighborhood in the world. We had all residential and it was dense. And we had a half block park, and on the other half of the block was a school. And then on the next block was the commercial corridor where you could get your pizza and your donuts and your dry cleaning and all of that. And so you had all of this, it was very walkable, but you yet had the protection of the residential because all that wasn't mixed into the residential. So you had that all on a corridor and you had your residential protectors. So there's a way to do that, and I think that the future land use plan that you've adopted kind of has, it's got the nodes, it's got the intense nodes, and then it's got some of the more mixed use stuff on the perimeter, and there may be some additional tweaks that you want to do to this. But I think it's a good overall concept that you're going to do your mix on the perimeter, and then you're going to have some interior space that you preserve as residential. And I think that makes good sense, and we can tweak that to make it a bit more progressive in terms of affordability and looking forward to more density.
And if someone wants something more intense than what we're doing, they can still come and ask for a variance in the neighborhood, or rezoning in the neighborhood to respond.
As long as it's not spot zoning.
Right. We didn't even talk about parks.
Yeah, parks, more parks.
So we'll try and make a quick turnaround with this. This shouldn't take us too long, and I know the holidays are coming. In the meantime, we're open from 7:30 to 4:30. If you have specific development questions, feel free to stop by and talk with us.
Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
taking the time to come.